These are two of my Model 25s that are my favorites of the Daisy Manufacturing Company. These are pretty early versions of the Model 25s. These were really well built. Not like the junk that's built today, made in China. And that's another issue, right? We don't want to discuss that. Ever since back in the early 80s, everything went to China and brought back to this country. And I guess I can't blame the Chinese, because it was mostly the American companies to make more money, and they hired Chinese corporations to build stuff cheaper at like 10 cents an hour instead of giving us $20 an hour and build stuff that could last 100 years. But that's money for you, right? Money, greedy money. But anyhow, it's nice to come across older items if you could come by at a fairly good price and hand it down to your kids or whatever and keep it. It's just these things last forever, you know, if you take care of them. So let's go on. All right, the first one is right here. This is a Daisy Model 25. It was manufactured, I think, around 1918, if I believe, maybe 1917. It was just right after the first variation. So this would be, I'm assuming, the second generation, or I keep saying generation, I don't know why. Second variation. Sorry about that. And then the one behind it is manufactured around 1930. Again, it's a Daisy Model 25, and there are some slight differences. So let's pinpoint those out, some of them, I guess. This is a short stroke version. When you pump it, it's a shorter stroke than the one behind it. As you can see, it's a longer stroke. Again, and another thing is the wood foregrip is it's 5 grooves, and the one behind it is 6 grooves. The barrel clamp is almost all the way around on both sides, as you can see, for the early version, and the later version is underneath. It's spot welded. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay, the takedown bolt. This is like, they call it a dime bolt, takedown dime bolt for the Daisy. As you can see, it's a huge bolt that just screws in there. And then the one over here has little ridges on it. Come on, phone, focus in. Another slight variation is the sight. This is the very large sight. There you go. And then if you compare it to the one in back, there is some differences on it. It has an adjustable screw to go up high, or up higher or lower. Boy, this camera sucks. Of course, the stock, the one in the back has the foregrip, and the earlier version is just a straight stock. And the earlier version has a smooth shoulder butt, and the later version has ridges, if you can see it. Okay. So, oh, and then you can't see it because of this damn phone, but there's no patented pendings on this early version. Damn, I hate this phone. Every phone that I get sucks, you know. So there's no patented pending marks on the early version, and this one has patented pending down on the right side here on the numbers. So a little bit different stamping. Daisy number 25 goes across here, Plymouth, Michigan, and then the Daisy number 25 is completely, the number 25 is underneath the Daisy. So it's slightly different there. And of course, this has the engraving with the hunter and the dog, and the nice engraving on both sides. The trigger guard is square, pretty much rectangular on the early version. In the later version, 1930s, it's more rounded, as you can see right here. And then the tang in the back, you don't have any strap, a back strap, I'm sorry. No back strap on the back of the early version. There is a back strap on the later version. So they're pretty much the differences. And of course, this has a screw on the top because it doesn't have a back strap. And this one, the screw's down at the end of the back strap. So, I like this one. This one is actually, I'll tell you that when they built the early, if you could pick up one of these, the first variant or the second variant, you got yourself a wonderful, wonderful Daisy rifle. And they are easy to rebuild, to put new seals and a spring in there. It's about 25, 35 bucks for the complete kit, and I'll tell you, it's worth it. These shoot really well, they're accurate, and they're just built like a tank, like everything was back then. If I had the first variation, pretty much everything would be the same, but it would be nickeled and then blued over, and it would not have this indentation right here to make it a stronger support. Because when they built the first variation, this was smooth. The pump arm was smooth, and I think it had a little tendency to not be as strong, so they made this indentation here. Goes across there. So that would be your first variation. And another thing that would be on the first variation, there'd be a screw here instead of a pin or a rivet. It's just a rivet, but there'd actually be a screw there. If you had a first variation, you're talking anywhere from $500 to $1,000 at least, if it was in really good shape. They are extremely rare. This variation is really rare too. Once in a blue moon they will pop up. This is probably worth anywhere from $300 to $600, let's say. I would not sell it any less than $500 because it's still operating and it shoots wonderful, and there's no dents in the barrel, as you can see. And it has a great patina. Everything's original. The only thing is just a little tiny crack coming right there, which could be fixed. That's no big deal. But it's all original. Hasn't even been tampered with. No parts have been changed. Actually, this was an original dime bolt, and I did replace that. I'm sorry. That was the only thing, because the other bolt was just a little bit scratched up, a little bit worn, and I wanted to buy a better one. So this is an original one from another one. So it is from the same time period. These are really well built too. If you like the scroll work, as you can see, it's in nice shape. It's got the scroll work on the other side. But this is the longer pumping action on this particular one. It does have just a couple slight, very minimal, like one right there and one over here somewhere, right there. Just a couple little slight tap-ins. It's not even dented in. It's just like I call it a tap-in. You could probably see it right there. See it? And but other than that, it's in perfect condition as far as with the patina and everything. There's no indentations. There's no dents in any other areas, because kids used to knock them everywhere, knock them against trees and drop them, and even though they were built very, very well, they would still dent. And you could find some of these that are pretty well dented. These go anywhere from $150 to $250, I think, right now. Maybe up to $300 for the 1930s. I think there's one on eBay right now for this variation, but it doesn't have a shot tube. And this is the original shot tube. Let me see if I can take it out here for you, because these are interesting. These are a little bit changed from variations, but as you can see, this is in still really good shape. And so, you know, to fill the BBs, you'd have to bring this little lever up, and it's on the spring, see? Oh, got all dirt there now. Oh my, I oiled this thing up. Oh well, these are old. You just put the BBs in there while you hold that little lever back. Put them right in there, and then you just let this thing go. So, let me let it go now. So I'm just gonna boom. But if you look at a lot of these, they're just like I said. There's just on the variations, they were just slightly different. This is nice too because it straps over to the feed barrel right over in here. And I'll tell you, if you had one of these, if you had an extra one of these, man, you're talking 150, 200 bucks. You could probably sell these. People need these all the time because a lot of them either are broken or can't get a hold of them. I mean, look how perfectly round hole that is. Look at that. That's not even dented. In such nice shape. Not even caved in. You know, and it's a little bit more sunken down with this variation than, like, say, this variation. Let me get this one now. See, you can see the difference. See the difference? Let me put this one up real quick. See, two different variations of the tube holders. As when the Model 21 double barrel came out, it had this one on the right for the tubes. And then the Model 21 double barrel, I believe, had this type. So, and then if I unscrew this one, let's see how this one is. If you see the difference, see, it's a whole different. Doesn't have the little strap that comes around for support. I mean, it's still built well, but they started cutting corners a little bit. But this one's still in good shape, and look at the barrel here. This one is not perfectly round, just a little bit up top here, but it's close to it. It's very close, and it's in good shape for its age, so I'm not complaining because these are very hard to get at a perfect piece, you know. So, and that's why they changed these two, because they were a little hard for kids to get these screwed in. They wanted to try to make it a little easier for them. So there you go. Two Model 25s from two different generations, I guess, if you want to say. Because like I said, this one's about 1917, maybe 18. And then this one is around 1930, 32. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's it. Because this one has the different takedown bolt, and both in really good shape. Oop, almost dropped it. Both in really good shape. See, I just oiled them up, so I just cleaned them with oil, and they're a little slippery right now, so got to keep them for the next generation, right? And hopefully the new generation don't throw these things out like they don't even care about anything that's old. You know, it's incredible. They don't care about even BB guns. Not like us when we were growing up. All they care about is their computer and their telephones. Give them a damn telephone, a cell phone, or a Apple iPhone, or a damn gaming computer. They'll take that over these things, you know. It's amazing. It is amazing. They wouldn't even sell these. I mean, you could probably get, let's see, $400, $500, $600, maybe $600 for both of these. Maybe a little more if, you know, if you find the right buyer. And they wouldn't even attempt to sell them. They would just throw them in the trash or leave them in the garage to rust out. So there you go. Just wanted to show you a couple of my Model 25s. I'll show some more BB guns in the future. I have quite a few, so. I think the Model 25 was like the perfect Daisy BB gun ever made. Just a really neat rifle. More so than the lever actions, even though a lever action 1894 is a really nice daisy. I have, I think, one of those. I didn't really buy too many of those, but I like these. If I find a few more of these, I would buy them. Adios.